I'm Laverne Cox, and you're watching Out at the Center.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Take your time. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Transgender Basics is a new educational video from the Gender Identity Project. It is also the creation of first-time filmmaker Rosa Jewel Norton-Toft, who interned at GIP and Center Media last year. The video seeks to educate service providers about the basics of gender and identity through the experiences of transgendered individuals, including yours truly. For me, there's so many other aspects of who I am beyond me being transgendered, and I think part of what upsets me is when people can't get past that.
Gender has to be unique because we're all too complex for us to state our gender in such a simple term. I'd like to make a distinction that all gay people are not transgender and all transgender people are not gay. Everybody has both a gender and a sexual orientation. They ask you to check one box or the other. They don't give you any room for complexity. The traditional gender mold doesn't actually fit large numbers of people. And we're really given two choices. We can either change the people or we can change the model.
Part of my own history as far as being a trans person is really understanding and really remembering every part of my transition and remembering what the struggle was that I went through in order to get to where I am today. I've had 2 surgeries and been on hormones for 5.5 years and have paid a lot of money and have had to work really hard, and I'm really broke.
I wasn't comfortable in the assigned role of being a boy. I was born and because I had a certain genital, situation. I was, it was like, that's a boy, and but I never felt that, and I don't think I was ever masculine in any way.
I was consistently challenged every single day about my gender. Somebody had to make some comment about it. Somebody had to say something about it. I was taunted by kids all the time.
And there was a lot of anxiety, I think, when I was growing up about how feminine I was. And my 3rd grade teacher called my mother and said, your son is going to end up in New Orleans wearing a dress if we don't get him in therapy right now. So I think I grew up internalizing a lot of transphobia, that there was so much, and homophobia as well, there was so much anxiety about me being so feminine and trying to fix me.
I never really felt like a lot of other people that I know in terms of being born in the wrong body. I feel pretty comfortable enough that I don't think that I'm going to physically transition. I don't know, things could change.
So each of these aspects, where we're talking about sex, gender role, gender identity, or sexual orientation, is some sort of spectrum or scale, something vast and explosive as opposed to narrow and contracted.
So the terms that people use for themselves may really vary. People have really different terms and words that are used to identify themselves. Drag king, drag queen, bigendered, omnigendered, female to male, male to female, trans woman, transgender man, transsexual woman, femme queen, tranny, transgenderist. Another definition of transgender would be people who feel that the binary gender system of male and female doesn't leave enough room for their identities.
I don't identify as a man or a woman, and there have been times in my life when I have really conformed more to more traditional, like, femininity, but it never really felt that right for me.
People assume that all of the transgender people out there are going through a medical gender transition. And we know that in the relative population of people out there who might be gender nonconforming, a relatively small number of people actually go through what would be considered a full medical transition. If you are in a situation where you work in an agency or someplace where you have a lot of contact with individuals coming in and in numbers, you've got to have some way to be able to equalize it so that transgender people will have the ability to identify themselves and have the space to do that and have you interact with them in an appropriate way. We can take a look at someone and see based on the way they're dressed or how they look. That might be an incorrect guess. The other way to find out would be something that sounds simple, which is to ask. to ask someone, how do you identify yourself? How do you identify your gender? What pronoun do you like to use?
I think my presentation is fairly clear. I think, even if it might not be fully successful, what I'm going for, I think, is clear.
Sometimes it does feel like I'm putting myself on the chopping block, for sure. But I'd rather people ask questions, even if they're not nice questions, than not try to understand.
And that's all for this excerpt from Transgender Basics. If you want to see the full show, check it out on our website at www.gaycenter.org/transgenderbasics. Until next time, I'm Laverne Cox. Stay in the love.